Hey everybody, what's going on? Brett here. We're back with my YouTube channel, Good Talk Gaming, and today we're going to be playing some more Legion TD2. I wanted to showcase this game just a bit more. There wasn't a ton of outcry for this on the channel, but I've been having fun with it. It's something I play in my free time, and they did just receive kind of a big update that allows you to play 4v4. So it's considered like a classic mode, just like it used to be back in the Warcraft 3 days. And it's fun. It adds a bit more, variance. It changes the dynamic whenever there are 8 players in the game. So, it allows for a lot more variance in the type of builds that you can pull off. When it's 2v2, you're very limited. One person can't. Wow, what happened? Just like kicked us out of the queue? Weird. Okay. Anyway. Well, one person can't forego building in favor of just going mass economy, but that's certainly something that you can see in these 4v4s. The 3 other people carry, while one guy, gets a ridiculous economy. That way he can send huge amounts of creeps at your opponents. So, I mean, it just allows for a lot more variance, as I've said. And the map looks cool. It's kind of like a desert theme map. I think the creator said that that was intentional so that people wouldn't lag. They made it very kind of sparse. And it looks good. Everything looks great. And it definitely has more of the feel of the original. So here we go. I'm not super high ranked, guys. I play, but I don't play enough to have, a great ranking. My buddy and I were playing the other day, and we played with some really bad players, and we played with some amazing players who are just so far above me that, I really wish I could have learned their strats or talked to them a bit to see what they did differently. But we're going to take Mastermind, so that means we're kind of randomizing what we're getting here. Let's see, I don't want the rat. I don't really want the honey flower. These 2 towers here make a bit of a combo, and I think we want the Millennium as well, but we need to sacrifice one of these for that. And that's more piercing damage, which we don't need, so we'll take this here. And I'm playing with some things that I'm not 100% like familiar with, but this should be fun. Let's see, let's get down a Butcher. And we're going to want to get double workers. So you'll see here our workers appear, and they're going to be mining these this Mythium, which is going to allow us to send more mercenaries. And we'll send a turn 1 snail. So if you remember kind of how the previous board was set up, it's now basically like 2. So it's me and my partner here, and then these other 2 guys on the other side. And everything we send will appear in the middle. All the mercenaries that we hire with our Mythium will appear in the middle. Everything I build will appear here. And our king is way down here. So there's multiple layers of defense that they have to get back through. And if we were like in Discord or something together talking, we could build in this position here together. And my experience though, playing several games over the weekend, that's pretty hard to do. So I built Butcher. He has a lifesteal aura, and he gives that to anyone who's built around him. He can hold usually for the first wave, but not generally too much longer than that. If my opponents end up sending, something big next wave, like a dragon turtle, for instance, with a lot of HP, he could easily leak. So I'm going to try and save, and I think we'll be very close to being able to afford a warg. If not, we'll probably drop down a bazooka to make sure that we don't leak. And I think our opponents have leaked here. So we can see who we're sending to. So purple is sending to us. That's this guy right here. And we are sending to, we're pink. So we come over and look. That's green. Yeah, we're sending to the guy that leaked. So we sent the snail, which is a pretty unusual turn 1 send. We're off by 1 gold. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, not everybody likes to send the turn 1 snails, and it can really throw off some people's builds. But let's see. And we're going to hold on to our Mythium for the next wave and see if we can't send a Dragon Turtle. Honestly, it might be a good idea to try and send another Snail, because if he couldn't hold the last wave, the odds are that he couldn't hold this one as well. We'll see. Oh, let me bring this up for you guys as well. It's a very nifty tool. I don't really need this. It's a chart that shows you, damage percentages based on damage types and armor types, but this is probably much more effective. So let's hope we don't leak here. We may leak. It's okay. I mean, we were 1 gold off of trying to build a ward. Kind of messed up our strategy a bit. But we may be able to save up enough for a 60 cost guy. Yeah, that's all fine. You'll see here they leaked all the way down to their boss. Or their king, rather. And our guys should be able to cover me. Yeah. Easily. So we're going to send a brute. And we're going to send it before the end of the wave. That way it increases our income. And we get more stuff. Alright. And if you're wondering why I'm placing my units like this, it's because I can do 2 in the front, 2 in the back, 1 on each side. And that fulfills kind of the aura's positioning requirements. You can either go 2 on the sides, 1 in the front, 1 in the back, or vice versa. So we're doing just fine. We're up to 5 workers by wave 3. That's not bad at all. We're actually going to build another one. And yeah, the butcher's just not holding well. We're going to leak again. That's unfortunate. I think if I wanted to be more safe, I would not have built turn 1 butcher. I probably would have built 2 wargs. But yeah, and this is our brute that we sent, and it's going to be killing this gargoyle here. It applies a debuff that slows attack speed every time it hits. So, honestly, this is not like the highest skill game. I would love to show you a game where I was like rocking. There's a lot of different combinations you can do in this game, and I take Mastermind as like my race, pretty much for the sole fact. Ooh, I need to get this quick, so I can get it in my income. There we go, and I'll send that again. Yeah, we barely got it off. Great. But I play it I love the variants. These guys are piercing damage. Okay, so piercing damage is going to be good against this wave. And the wargs upgrade into one of 2 things. Either a lioness or an alpha male. And they each have their own unique buff/debuff. This is Entourage and this is Dominion. So they don't like to be placed near certain types of units. And you have to be careful about who you place them near. And since we've been leaking, we may need to kind of chill out on our workers for a bit and focus on making sure that we do not leak. Up next is a kind of a mini boss level, wave 5, and I don't know if we'll have enough to upgrade our bazooka guy to a fire bat. Probably not, but we shall see. Fire bats are excellent. They're very tanky. They do magic damage, and that'll be very effective against these guys. And hopefully we don't leak much after that. And yeah, I think we caused our guy to leak once again. So this seems to be honestly a bit of a low skill game, and that's okay. Some of the games I played yesterday were super high skill and they were very stressful. But I was also fortunate to have random some very good units that I was very familiar with. So we're going to keep sending things that I know work, and they're going to make it all the way to the core, and that's going to generate a lot of gold for us. It should allow us to build something different, something good. And honestly, I think I'm going to get a Fiend. The Fiend has a bit more HP, does about the same damage, but it doesn't have the debuff. But it does, however, increase. You'll see here the difference in our income increase, plus 18 versus plus 15. It's not huge, but it's also not nothing. So yeah, let's get this Pyro here. And that's good, because he'll also have Leech off of the Butcher. So he now has life steal, I guess you could call it. All right, he has a bit of a splash attack as well. Did our snail make it? Nah, we were just a second late on our snail. And since I think it's pretty much like a guarantee that we cover here, let's watch our opponent. See how they do. This fiend is doing a lot of damage. But they have these green devils that are very tanky. And he managed to hold this time. Very good for him. We'll make sure we're getting ourselves another worker. We want to stay kind of at parity with our team. This guy's already up to 10. Which is super nice. I think we do something like this. Get ourselves another worker. And I like that a lot. Once we get to 40 here, we'll probably, we'll send a dragon turtle. So we're sending a dragon turtle and a snail. I would have liked that snail to go into the last wave. I think it would have probably upset them a bit, having to focus down that really weak guy, and meanwhile taking a lot of damage from other sources. We don't have a lot of impact damage at the moment. Our butcher has it, and our two bazookas have it. And that's what you need to impact these guys. Yeah, I said that. That's what you need to take these guys out. Oh wow, I didn't realize they had this. Ah, that's a nice way to do it. Nice little wheel. Let's see what our opponent's doing. And they're doing fine. Okay. Now we have access to our disciples who do piercing damage, and they have an attack that gives them, and we'll place them kind of far back, I think. Place them here. No, we want them here. They have an attack that takes mana, but it does pure damage. So it just basically ignores all target types, all armor types, and gives them 300 pure damage. So their deal is when you upgrade them, they get like a mana regen aura, the same way that the Butcher has an aura. And you place the Fire Lords around them, which have mana shields, which protect them. And they work very well together. So I'm really counting on her to do a lot of damage for us, but it looks like it's going to be difficult. They sent a Hermit, which is a pretty nice send. It's a healer. It's going to be keeping them alive, and I think we're going to leak here. That was a pretty big send from our opponent. Yeah, not bad. And we'll go ahead and get ourselves one worker. Trying to think about what our next plan is. So we're going to be getting 99 income this turn to add to our 72, and it'll be going up because as the leaked units make it down there, they generate a bit of extra gold for you. So we'll have almost 200. It's quite a bit. Make sure we get something before the income comes in. There we go. Come up here. All right. So let's read this real quick. Has powerful combat stats, but damage and damage reduction are decreased by 5% for each adjacently deployed fire that is equal or higher value than alpha male. Okay. I think if we get the head chef, he doesn't like that. That's interesting. I'm not 100% on that. Ooh, and another decent sized send. So I get 100 send here. Basically the dino. And he's going to eat up a ton of my DPS. My opponent is able to hold quite nicely. The Leviathan buffs flying units. So he's able to do quite well. I would love to send a Hermit on the next group. But we're going to need for some of these guys to leak to buy us enough time to do that. So like if he leaks here, we should have enough time to save. And I'm probably going to get my first... we need impact damage for the next round, so we'll see. Yeah, let's get a hermit in the pool. Getting some nice gold. And because we need impact damage for the next 2 rounds, we're going to drop a Millennium. Drop it right there. It's a pretty tanky unit. It is a tank. It's a tank. But when you upgrade it, does splash damage. It attacks very slow, but it hits super hard. And if you manage to kill something, it does... See here, it's called Explosive Shells. So 50 damage in an AoE. Much better when you upgrade it to the Doomsday. Deals 100 damage in an AoE. But it also will have like 5k plus HP, is what I was trying to say. So we have a lot of small synergies right now. We're not probably using them as effectively as we could be. Mostly because I'm scared. I don't know which one to upgrade, whether or not it's the Lioness or the Alpha. It could easily mess us up if we do the wrong thing. I think we'll save up one more time for the Hermit, because level 10 is the Granddaddy, it's the boss level. And a healer on that level could be potentially devastating. So we'll get that there. And right now we're sitting at, we'll have 350 gold, which is enough to get another Millennium and perhaps a worker, which I think is what we may do. We're also running very close to our supply cap, so we need to be aware of that. Yeah, this is 425 to upgrade. I think we'll just drop another Millennium here, and then call that good. We need to save up to 50 supply. You know what, and we'll also we'll send a Lizard. And now our next 50 Mythium we'll spend towards upgrading our supply. So that's the next thing we want to do. I'm hoping that this is enough impact damage to get through. It really depends on what our opponent sends us. And a bunch of Dragon Turtles are going to absorb a lot of the opening salvos here. But if my Millennium's got the final blows, then it's actually not that bad, because they probably did some AoE damage to the boss. Not a lot, but it's not nothing. Fire Bats were acting almost as tanks for us there. And I think we're going to hold just nicely. Double Millennium's pretty good against that wave for sure. Is everyone else doing okay? Yeah, there was some leaking on both sides. Looks like our guy held. Perhaps barely. I think it's time to kind of boost out our economy a little bit. We made a bit of extra gold there from forcing them to leak. And now here comes the kind of unique upgrades you can take. Ooh. Sorcerer would be great on this guy if I had her upgraded, which is something I think we're going to do anyway. And then Market is just more gold, more Mythium, and a higher income. I like this a lot. You know, I think we're going to take it for the mana regeneration. And there we go. So now she's even stronger. She has better mana regen. She'll use her asteroid ability more often. And we'll start building our Fire Lords around her. And they'll have really powerful mana regen, because she already has a buff that regens mana. It's called Amplified Magic. And as far as my skill level goes, guys, I like to stay, you know, 1 or 2 workers ahead of the wave. That's like where I'm comfortable in maintaining my value. You see here, this is what the game recommends your value to be as each wave progresses. So our value right now is 1925. the game recommends we be at around 1600. So we're already kind of near our next wave's value. So if we want to, you know, be more aggressive with our building, perhaps sometimes that's a good thing to do if you're anticipating having to cover a large send from your opponent, or to cover you know, leaks from your allies. It's not a bad idea to be ahead. That hasn't really been an issue this game, so I probably could have afforded to build just a bit less and to econ just a bit more. And I think we're going to do that. We're going to try and catch up with some of our allies. And we're still going to have 250 to play with, so to speak. And I think we're going to get another pyro. There we go. Very tanky. We may want to try and get our head chef very soon and start getting like a front line of lionesses or something like that going. Let's see what we have in the old send pool. So people, ooh, a ghost knight. That's a pretty high level send here. It takes very little damage from auto attacks. It's kind of its thing. And I would love to send a dino, but it's not going to happen. So we'll hold on. And we'll send another hermit next wave. I think sending the auras, if you don't really know what to send, or you're not paying as close of attention as you could be, as I'm kind of not, because I'm trying to commentate as well. Like, they're using a lot of summons now. They're kind of trying the same strategy I am with the Disciple, giving the mana regen once it's upgraded so that the Lords of Death can summon a lot. There is a unit here called the Centaur, which does a cleaving attack, which is very good at killing lots and lots of extra summons. Okay. So we'll drop 2 of these bad boys. And they're strong on their own, but once they're upgraded to their Phoenix form, they do a ton of damage, they absorb a ton of damage, and whenever they kill something, they also restore more of their mana. So they'll have 3 ways of refilling their mana, which is essentially a damage shield for them. So, very strong. I would love to send a safety mole as well, but I don't think I'm going to make it in time. So I'll probably just send a dino here. Dino to help tank, and a hermit to help heal. This can be a pretty difficult wave for some builds to deal with. Okay. Our workers are sitting at 15, we're on wave 13, it's not too bad. But my opponent hasn't sent anything to me in a little while, so I'm anticipating a kind of a big send from him. I feel like he's saving up. Just kind of watching to see what potential weaknesses they might have. Oh, and one of our allies got sent a shaman, which is a really strong send. It's one of the best sends you can have. Applies, I think it's an attack speed buff. And I think we really need to place more of these wargs. Right now they're just kind of tanking for us. They're eating the opening salvos of our waves and allowing for our higher DPS units to kind of do their jobs. What are we sending currently? A hermit. Let's send a fiend as well. And we're going to look to get a few more workers this wave as soon as we can. If we had 50, we would have got it just now. So they sent double auras. This heals and this provides a damage reduction. And the lizards do like little decent ranged attacks. So that's 2 more workers for us. Hopefully we don't leak here. These guys don't take a lot of damage from magic attacks, which is, you know, a lot of what we have back here. But with all this mana regen, they should be able to tank this pretty well. Another hermit. Which, once again, guys, may not be the best strategy here. I would encourage you, if you like this game, if you like watching me play, you know, I'm not going to play this forever. I just wanted to show it on the channel because it's something that I'm enjoying playing. But if you like this, I encourage you to go find people in this community who are playing this game at a higher level than me and support them. because it's a super fun game to play, and it can be a great game to watch, especially if you have someone who knows the ins and outs of all the different builds. I'm playing way too many games right now to like focus on this game that hard, but I can definitely see why some people want to. Alright. This wave is a boss wave. We would like to do more magic damage if possible. So 2 more guys who do magic damage. They're going to surround our Star Caller, and then when the time comes, we'll hope to start upgrading them to Phoenixes. This can be a pretty difficult wave if you get a very powerful send against you. I'm sending Double Brute Hermit. Everyone else is kind of sending Hermits as well. It's pretty effective, and we'll see. I didn't receive any sends at all, whereas this guy, Green here, he got sent a ton of stuff. So we gotta wish him luck. He's got Kingpins in the front line. These big shark guys, they do a ton of damage. And he has these Lords of Death in the back summoning for him. We have a lot of damage on the field. We're absolutely fine. Oh, he has that's a witch, I believe. Witches summon little frog things. And our opponent's not leaking really at all anymore. He's doing just fine. So we need to save up to 75 to increase our supply once again. And they leaked, I mean, they leaked pretty hard in 3 different lanes. So the only one who didn't leak was our direct opponent. But they're not going to be able to hold this back. 2 of these aren't even hurt, essentially. Interesting. We'll see how much damage this can do to the boss, to the king rather. The king is generally pretty good at taking out bosses. You'll see there in one like move it clears out all of the healers. But we're going to make a fortune off of this, and I think we need to spend. There we go, we increase our supply. Let's get our workers up to 20. Oh, and they actually double right now the amount of workers that we can get. So we need to take advantage of that. We just upgraded our supply, and I think we're going to go pretty hard on that. We'll get our last guy, and then we'll boost our supply one more time. Not our supply, rather. We'll boost our workers one more time. So you see there, we made a huge jump. We're now up to 32. This is kind of the realm where you start catching up if you're behind. So let's see. We're already sending 1 Hermit. We would like to send before the wave starts. Our income, our Mythium income is going to be increased drastically. We might get there. There we go. So now we're going to send a Safety Mole and a healer, a Hermit. Oh, we got sent against pretty hard. So a 680, that's huge. That might be the biggest send so far. And we econned really hard instead of building. So I could see us leaking pretty terribly here. We'll see. Hopefully our allies got us covered. Yeah, I mean, we're going to clear some of it, but we're certainly gonna die here. As long as our allies cover, we'll be fine. So, I mean, that guy's been saving up for quite some time to send like that against us. And the fact that we were able to clear like half of it, well, more than half, just really his mercenaries survived. And then our allies are going to easily cover. We can watch them as they clear their way. We're going to send Hermit Safety Mole again. I think it's just a safe send. And it's going to get our income quickly. Alright, we're at 40. I think we can stop for a minute. Let's see if the Lionesses get the debuff or they're just fine. Yeah, and they're just fine like that. Man, we really need to upgrade to our head chef. We're trying so hard to make this build work. And here we're going to send a pack leader. That's another aura that does like an attack debuff. Ooh, I was going to put a butcher down there. The Lionesses have a lot more HP. They do a lot more damage. they'll make a much better front line. Right now, our front line is just melting. We should be fine here. He's just going to continually send witches, it looks like. Which are pretty good against us because we have so much single target damage. Let's see how orange is doing. And to prevent, you know, people from swarming us, we probably should upgrade our... Yeah, we just got absolutely swarmed there. We should upgrade our Millenniums to their Doomsday forms to give us more AoE. Yeah, some of our allies are doing great. Their value is starting to get higher than mine, and they've also managed to keep up with their workers quite heavily. How are they doing? Are they losing? Oh, man. Almost had the win there. 10%. And I think what we need to do is get double Doomsday here. And then we can also grab a Head Chef for that better... essentially, it's a better aura. Heals a nearby ally for 200 maximum health over 1 second. And cannibalism. Yeah, so very good. We're going to send a witch here. See if that does anything versus our opponents. And we can also spend some of the rest of our gold. Increase our workers by 2. But our allies may end up carrying us pretty heavily. We can afford to send a bit this way, but we're going to need to upgrade our supply again. And that's going to take 100 Mithium to do that. But our Doomsday machines are quite tanky, and they do a lot of AoE. See here, they do 800 impact damage. Quite a bit. There we go. We've got our supply up one more time. And yeah, our opponent here is leaking for the first time in a while. Feels pretty good. Oh yeah, they majorly leaked. I think our allies sent some huge waves. Yeah, they did. So that's going to be GG. So well played by my allies. I felt like I got carried just a bit there, but it was a pretty even game for most of it. My direct opponent was a pretty skilled player, so. And here you can see the score screen, kind of see who did what. We were kind of in the middle of the road. You see this guy was perhaps a bit newer. We know what we're doing, but we're not pros. And then these guys here absolutely were amazing at the game. You could tell by how many workers they ended the game with, as well as how much their fighter value was. So despite having double our workers, they still had slightly higher fighter value than us. So they know the trick, and they were doing a good job. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I may do 1 or 2 more of these, depending on whether or not people want to watch them. And yeah, I just hope you're enjoying them. So once again, my name is Brett. My channel is Good Talk Gaming, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Take care.